Hi, welcome back to another edition of Max and Nikki 1000th Time Reactions.
where we react to a song after listening to it for our 1000th time.
We release 3 videos a day, every day, so make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all our amazing content. What are we going to listen to today, man?
We're going to listen
Or on
to
this episode.
the Bee Gees' Staying Alive.
Now, this is definitely one of the most popular songs of all time. We've heard this song thousands of times.
Yeah, I mean, it's in so much, in media all over the place, and plus it's on the radio all the time.
Sure. But before we get to it, just want to remind you all, as we usually do, that we have another channel called Max and Nikki, on which we perform oldies, tunes, jazz standards, and originals in that vein. And we have comedy videos on there as well, so make sure to check that out.
But for right now, let's take a listen to Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
For our 1000th time.
Here we go.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. The music loud, women walk, I've been kicked around since I was born. Never tolerate, I don't care, and you may look the other
All right. That
All
was the
right,
Bee Gees,
Staying Alive, the Bee Gees.
I mean, God,
That's
his
such a
falsetto.
grooving song.
It is. I mean, it's probably the most popular, one of the probably top 5 most popular disco songs of all
Sure,
time.
but I
think.
mean, well, it's actually one of the most popular songs of all time, actually.
I mean, it's so ubiquitous.
I mean,
but
this album, the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever is one of the highest selling albums of all time. But
you know,
I mean, you
he's-
also just can't help, if you've seen Saturday Night Fever,
you
even
can't
if you haven't
help
seen
but
it,
go like this. You know?
no, that's not what I'm thinking. I mean, you can't help but thinking of that intro, that first shot of John Travolta in the movie where he's kind of walking on the sidewalk.
Sure.
I mean, that's just such an iconic.
Well, that's
thing.
kind of like the music video to this, which we were watching in the corner of our eyes here.
It makes you want to walk like that.
They're walking, and that's kind of the whole music video is them just the Bee Gees just kind of walking through the
They're
streets.
strutting. They're strutting their stuff.
They're strutting, yeah. You can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a ladies' man. No time to talk. You know, it's a pretty
Right. Well, that's the kind of guy John Travolta is in that movie in a way.
But
or
you
he
know,
thinks he's a ladies' man
the-
or something.
the-
Like that. I kind of it's been a while
The
since I've seen that
falsetto
movie.
in this it's really impressive, but it gets to a point where it is a little comedic. How kind of it just when you see Barry Gibb doing it, just it's almost just a little over the top. I mean, in a way.
Well, I
right?
don't know. I think it's cool that they're using, it's a tune that's almost all falsetto. Almost. There's a part in it where Barry Gibb actually sings in his actual non-falsetto.
You know, it's
register.
interesting though. The other two Bee Gees, Robin and God, I'm blanking on the other one's name right now.
Robin and
Oh God, I'm blanking right now.
goodness,
It'll
I
come
can't
to me in a
remember right now
second
for some reason.
But
the twins.
the
Let's just
twins,
say the twins.
the twins, their voices are not utilized nearly as much as Barry Gibb's voice in this. You know,
Well, actually, what's interesting is Barry kind of in their in the later 70s, he kind of took control more of lead vocal duties along with
Robin.
Robin. Well, Robin is
the Bee
right,
Gees.
Robin.
in
But
the- in the-
earlier on, Robin was the more lead singer, though. Apparently,
Well, no, that's not entirely. What,
is,
what
actually.
happened actually is in 1970, I believe, Robin, they had some turmoil for a year, and Robin decided to leave the group because he wanted to be the leader. He wanted to be like the big star, and so he just set out on doing his own
but
solo career.
He did sing lead often.
I know, but
Actually,
he
all the
wanted.
time. I think almost
I think
all
and,
the time,
He and
actually.
Barry kind of they fought a lot, and he split up and he tried to pursue a solo career, but it wasn't that successful. And eventually, I think sometime in 1971 or 72, he rejoined the other Gibb brothers in the Bee Gees, and they were successful in the late 60s and early 70s, but by the late 70s, when this album came out, it catapulted
They
them
were
to another
superstars.
stratosphere.
They were
superstars. And of course, they would help their younger brother, Andy Gibb, with his solo career.
Sure, he became a big pop sensation.
He was a
in the late
teen idol,
70s,
actually.
early 80s.
With I Just Want to Be Your Everything and Shadow Dancing.
Right.
But this song is it's so good. It's so grooving. That riff.
Yeah, that's so iconic.
It's so iconic,
Uh-huh.
But there's a lot of cool panning effects in this.
Right,
with
there's
the voices.
there's some cool panning effects of the lead vocals in this.
Sure,
actually.
yeah. And there's some cool drum fills in it too. Some drum instruments
there
that
was
come
this-
in at the end.
Yeah,
there,
at the
actually.
end there, it almost sounded like it was playing on like a trash can almost or something.
Yeah,
like
or
that.
some like steel drums or something like that. You know?
Steel drum. I don't know about steel drums.
I don't know, something. But
No, that would have made it sound,
right.
something else.
But the production is pretty cool in this. Now the bass is actually, for being a disco song, the bass for a lot of the song is pretty low. Actually, it's very much in the low end actually of the bass register. If
What do you
weren't
mean?
noticing.
What do you mean for being a disco song? I don't understand. What you
Well,
mean.
I feel like funk and disco, the bass is always very prominent. Usually, no.
It is prominent. I mean, I could hear the bass clearly in this.
I know, but for a lot of it, I'm talking about there's something more punchy usually about the bass in those kinds of songs. But this bass in this song is not necessarily.
Well, I
that
think they didn't
punchy.
want to get into the, that. I'm pretty sure it's the low end of the guitar doing that kind of melodic.
Yeah,
thing.
I think, yeah.
But I think they didn't want to, because that almost has a bassy
Effect to
a
it.
bass effect to it.
But if you were listening to the actual bass,
But the actual
guitar
bass itself, it's kind of pretty low down there.
it's pretty low down there.
or at least the timbre sounds
it's
kind
more
of more
thick.
low. It's more
than,
thick. It's got a thicker,
and not as, for lack of a better word, punchy. You know?
right.
But it still sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, you could also just see how, how much disco is influenced by funk. I mean, straight up, that is what it is. It really is just kind of a funk thing, actually.
Sure,
It's
yeah.
just
I mean, sometimes
maybe
it's like,
slightly
where do you
more-
draw
it's
the
just
line?
More
you know?
danceable, I guess.
Sometimes you just are like, where do you draw the line?
right,
You know?
right.
But it's a great tune. I think that'll do it for this reaction video. If you like what you heard and saw today, please hit that subscribe button and ding that post notification bell to find out about more Max and Nikki reaction videos.
Please keep tuning in.